Well, with me is a veteran BBC presenter, Bob Harris, who interviewed the band on a number of occasions. And I'm also joined by Kenney Jones, a drummer for bands such as The Faces and The Who. Thanks both very much for coming on what is obviously a really sad day and a huge day with lots of implications across the music world. Kenney Jones, could I just start with you and get your reaction?
Sure. I'm really not surprised because I knew Charlie was very ill and he had cancer way back in a few years back, well, quite a few years back. And he recently got ill again, and I was hoping he would recover. And I've been talking to Ronnie Wood about it, and I really did think he was going to recover, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. I mean, I spoke to Charlie on his 80th birthday, and we had such a laugh on the phone, and he sounded in good spirits. Didn't sound as healthy as I would like him to have sounded, but I thought we'd see each other again.
Oh, that's really sad for obvious reasons. Just for people who didn't meet him, didn't know him, didn't get to chat to him like you did, what kind of man was he?
Charlie was a lovely, smart, amazing guy. Great. The reason he was such a great drummer is because he had a great feeling about himself and for others. It's all about feeling, It's all about your emotion. You play your emotion. You play the way you feel. And Charlie, being a nice guy that he was, had to convert everyone's emotions and feelings for the rest of the band and deliver that exactly the right tempo, the right place to put the beat. And so for me, he was the ultimate drummer.
We're seeing some brilliant old black and white photos of the two of you together, actually, as you were speaking then, which is really quite poignant given what you were saying earlier. And just talk to us about the drumming and his musical influence. Where will he stand in the history of music?
Oh, I think you take great drummers like Joe Morello and all the greats, and all the great jazz drummers, and just put Charlie in the middle of those. I mean, thing is, he's as important as all those great jazz drummers. So he's an amazing guy. Amazing talent, and the way he delivers the beat was absolutely spot on. I mean, you just can't believe. I mean, he is the heart and soul of the Rolling Stones. His drumming is as important as Mick Jagger's voice, as Keith Richards' guitar playing, as Ronnie Wood's guitar playing. He's one of the...
That's certainly some compliment. Bob, if I can come to you, you were nodding along there. Would you agree there with that glowing assessment?
I absolutely would, and I think Kenney has hit one really big nail on the head, and that is that Charlie was incredibly comfortable with himself, and somehow that translated into his drumming. There was a kind of uncluttered, just laid-back brilliance about the way that he drove the music of the Rolling Stones. I mean, he produced actually some of the best drumming on any track I've ever heard, Gimme Shelter on the album Let It Bleed. I just think the drumming on that is absolutely incredible. And I was very fortunate to plug in slightly to the early days of his career, as it were, through my late friend and mentor, Alexis Corner, because Alexis's role in terms of putting the Rolling Stones together at the Ealing Club, actually, in 1962, was huge. That place was a magnet for so many young musicians who were emerging at that time. And it was Alexis who introduced Charlie to the band in 62. And when you think that the Stones have been going ever since, I don't think that longevity will ever be equaled.
Yeah, that is remarkable. And Kenney, just coming back to you, because we know so many of the wild stories of the Rolling Stones, and he was never really that front and centre character, was he? In a way, from the outside, it seems like he was a slightly odd mix into the band.
He wasn't odd, he was just being honest. I mean, he wasn't Keith Moon by a long shot. I mean, and nor was I. I mean, there's no way you could compete with Keith Moon, and nor was we ever attempted to do that. Charlie was himself from day one to the day he died, and he's power to him.
And Bob, just want to come to you on this. We were talking a little bit earlier on about the jazz and the influence of jazz, which is slightly probably less well known, perhaps.
Yes, I mean, when you compare him, as Kenny said, you know, with Keith Moon or John Bonham, you know, these real larger-than-life driving force drummers in bands like Led Zeppelin and The Who. Charlie wasn't like that. Charlie had come, in his mind anyway, from a sort of jazz background. He loved Duke Ellington as an 11-year-old. He loved Miles Davis in the 60s. And he brought that sensibility actually to the music of the Rolling Stones. So there was a control about his drumming. It was very, very understated. And yet it was absolutely vital to the way the Rolling Stones sounded.
And just finally, Kenny, if I could just finish with you, just try and sum up, what kind of place in history will he have now?
Oh, he'd be one of the most important drummers that ever lived, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he's not going to be known for being the most technical drummer in the world, nor am I. But the thing is, he was in the right place at the right time and on the right beat at the right time on every single record he did with the Rolling Stones.
What a wonderful tribute. Kenny Jones and Bob Harris, thank you so much, both of you, for coming on and sharing your memories. Thank you.